My wildcard is active. Welcome back to your English Aussie. Today I'm going to take you through my wildcard team and some wildcard tips, which some might call the FPL dark arts. So strap on your boots and let's jump straight into the video. So first up on the wildcard team are the goalkeepers. At the moment, I do have David Raya and Martin Dubravka in goal. I think Arsenal's defence has been so solid. They are just the number one defence in the league at the moment. And David Raya, even though he's at 5.5 million, with the goalkeepers at the moment, just looks like such a fantastic pick. Arsenal have some really nice fixtures, especially from game week 7 going forwards. They've also got Nottingham Forest in game week 4, which is quite nice. I've got Dubravka in there to fill in game week 5, when Burnley also play Nottingham Forest. And then back to David Raya again, leading up really all the way through to game week 15, 16, where those AFCON 5 transfers come in, and there is some potential for change in that goalkeeper position if you have identified a nice target. Some other interesting goalkeeper choices, and we'll talk about as we look at some of those target teams to target defensively. It's potentially Dean Henderson of Crystal Palace, and even Emi Martinez or a Vicario of Villa and Spurs. But for me, I think Raya looks the nicest option, potentially Dean Henderson as a number 2 backup for that. Onto the defence, and we do have Virgil van Dijk of Liverpool, Maxime Lacroix of Crystal Palace, Ricardo Calafiori of Arsenal, Matty Cash of Aston Villa, and Joe Rodon of Leeds. Now, the reason for these picks are Virgil van Dijk, for me, a Liverpool defence with some fantastic fixtures. He's a defensive contribution monster. He's picking up a lot of those defensive contributions in plenty of games for Liverpool. I think Liverpool will do really strong over the next few weeks with a fantastic fixture run, and really like Virgil for that. He does also have some goal threat offset pieces, which we haven't seen quite yet. Next up, I want to talk about Ricardo Calafiori. Now, this could easily be a Jurrien Timber or a Gabriel. This is one that is in flux in my team at the moment, but I do want to have double Arsenal defense, so I've gone for Raya and Calafiori for the moment, especially while Saka is still out and injured. I'm only likely to have one Arsenal spot in the attack used, potentially an Eze, potentially a Gyökeres, as we'll watch to see how Arsenal develop as Eze finds his feet into that team. For me, I really like Calafiori at the moment for his attacking potential. He gets super high offensively for Arsenal. The only risk here is he's going to be sharing minutes with Miles Lewis-Skelly. Similarly for Jurrien Timber, although Ben White's out injured, he will be sharing minutes on that right back role. So Gabriel is probably the safe pick here. But I think with the rotation that I do have in this 5-man defense, it's okay to take a little bit of risk and search for that upside here. Now, Maxime Lacroix for Crystal Palace. For me, Crystal Palace have one of the best defensive rotations with the Arsenal defense. Lacroix has been fantastic for defensive contributions. There is obviously a potential to go for Daniel Munoz, but I do really like Maxime Lacroix here at that 0.5 million cheaper 5 mil price point. Palace have some really great fixtures and have been really defensively strong both this season and last season. And while they managed to hold on to Mark Guehi and not let Liverpool take him in that transfer window, they look to remain defensively solid going forwards. Matty Cash of Aston Villa, again, he's one of those picks that are in here because he's a good rotation. They rotate really nicely with the Liverpool defence. Another option for Matty Cash could be Senesi at Bournemouth. I've gone for Cash at the moment because I think Aston Villa are more likely to pick up those clean sheets. However, Senesi at Bournemouth, if they continue to do well, could be a nice pick given that he is also a defensive contribution monster, picking up 15, 14 and 14, I think, in the first 3 games, and 3 defensive contribution 2-pointers out of 3. And finally, I've got Joe Rodon of Leeds. Leeds are really nice to rotate with both Liverpool and Crystal Palace. Joe Rodon looks set in at that centre-back position at the moment. Also quite nice on DEFCON, although hasn't really picked up too many so far. But I do expect Leeds to potentially pick up a couple of DEFCON points and maybe 1 or 2 clean sheets this season. So Joe Rodon will be rotating in for some of the easier games this year. On to my midfield, and if you haven't done so yet, please remember to subscribe down below to my channel. Smash that like button if you have been enjoying the video so far. First up in the midfield, we have Enzo of Chelsea, Cody Gakpo of Liverpool, Mohamed Kudus of Tottenham, Harvey Elliott, who at the transfer window did move from Liverpool to Aston Villa on loan for the rest of the season, and Elliot Anderson of Nottingham Forest with his recent call-up into the England squad for the international friendlies. So first, let's talk about Enzo Fernandez here. I think he's a little bit of a short-term pick in my wildcard team. Chelsea have really nice fixtures over the next 3 games. They have Brentford, Manchester United, and Brighton, all with the potential to get some attacking returns over those fixtures. If Palmer continues to be unfit and doesn't make it into the team, he is also on penalties, as we saw in the last game. Regardless of that, I think Enzo's really nice. He's on set pieces, corners, for Chelsea, inverts from that defensive midfield role defensively, forwards into an attacking midfield role, has really worked on his ability to get into the box and get on the end of those chances and crosses as well. So for me, Enzo's a really nice short-term pick for those 3 game week period. Cody Gakpo for me has just been looking really nice for Liverpool. I think, as we've spoken about earlier in the season, Liverpool actually have been sharing the ball around a lot more. It's not all driven down that right-hand side and Salah's side. It has moved left. It has gone down the centre to Ekitike. And Ekitike and Gakpo have been linking up really nicely so far. For me, Gakpo is a hold into the team. And I think really nice for those 2 Burnley and Everton fixtures in 4 and 5. I'm expecting Gakpo to maintain his starting role on the left wing for Liverpool, even though Isak comes into the squad. There might be a little bit of rotation between Ekitike and Isak up front, and potentially Ekitike takes a few minutes in that left wing role as well. But I expect Cody Gakpo to continue as the starting left winger and be getting at least 70 minutes every game week. Next up is Mohamed Kudus of Spurs. Again, if you prefer a Brennan Johnson, you could go here. But for me, Mohamed Kudus is more involved in the general gameplay. Johnson is one of those guys who has the knack of being in the right place at the right time, picking up at a goal, but is very limited in terms of contribution to the game outside of that. Isn't fantastic for assist potential, doesn't get on the ball a lot, is more of an off-the-ball player that's looking to get in the box and on the end of those crosses and time his runs. Whereas Mo Kudus on the ball can be creative, can get those assists, and also has the potential to score goals. This could also be a Xavi Simons of Tottenham, who's come in recently and is now priced at 7 million. I really do like that, and I will consider as we go over the next 2 weeks on this wildcard whether Kudus could potentially be upgraded by 0.5 mil to Xavi Simons. This team value is actually only 97 million, so I do have additional money to be upgrading elsewhere, and we will go on to talk about a few of those upgrades as we go through here. Next up in the midfield is Harvey Elliott of Aston Villa. He's moved from Liverpool to Aston Villa on loan. Expect him to potentially play in the 10 for Aston Villa, maybe on that right wing in replace of McGinn. But if he does manage to bed down a starting spot at Villa, he looks a fantastic player and could be really nice. Potentially towards the end of the deadline, I may be looking to play a little bit safer. That could be a Morgan Rogers for the minutes safety as another route into that Aston Villa side, who have some nice offensive fixtures coming up over the next few weeks. On the bench, we do have Elliot Anderson of Nottingham Forest at 5.5 million. I know he hasn't picked up those DEFCON points so far for those of you that have had him in his team, but with 11, 11 and 11 defensive contributions, he is the ultimate DEFCON dodger so far this season. He's still on corners, still on set pieces for Nottingham Forest, although they haven't been so nice going forwards. He's really in my team as a little bit of a rotation piece. He rotates really nicely with the other 4 midfielders in the games that they struggle, and at 5.5 million is a really nice price point. If you're just looking for sort of a midfield bench fodder, Josh King at 4.5 million midfielder starting in the number 10 role for Fulham, looks a really nice pick. He was fantastic against Chelsea and was really unfortunate to not get a well-deserved goal. However, there is a minutes risk. We do have Emile Smith-Rowe potentially to come in to that Fulham team, and Fulham not looking fantastic offensively. I guess you could say the same about Nottingham Forest after that game with West Ham, though. Moving on to the front line here, and we do have a big trio. Erling Haaland of Manchester City, João Pedro of Chelsea, and Hugo Ekitike of Liverpool. Perhaps a slightly controversial pick for a few of you. Now, if we start with Erling Haaland here, obviously he's the main man for Manchester City, not affected by Pep Roulette, and that is why he is priced so high, and of course is a fantastic pick. Manchester City, again, have some really nice fixtures over the next 5 game weeks, with Man United, a tricky one against Arsenal, then Burnley, Brentford and Everton making up the next 5. Erling Haaland's been on form so far this season. Although he's missed a few opportunities, has still been managing to score over the first 3 game weeks, and looks a good pick as Manchester City continue their good fixtures. João Pedro, obviously second here. He's been in great form for Chelsea this season, looked brilliant in the Club World Cup, and has continued that form into the Premier League. Someone that I definitely want to go with Chelsea's nice fixture runs coming up. Potentially he drops into that 10 role while Palmer is out, but that for me just makes him even nicer asset, as he has that potential for the assists as well as the goals. And finally, what I know a few of you will be thinking is a controversial pick from me is Hugo Ekitike of Liverpool. I expect Ekitike to start in game week 4, potentially even in game week 5, as Alexander Isak gets up to speed, having not trained very much with Newcastle over the previous weeks, and settles into the Liverpool lineup. If Ekitike does get replaced by Isak, that's fine with me. I do have the money, as I have 3 million still in the team, to upgrade an Ekitike to an Isak, to move into him in the future. But I do really want to have a Liverpool striker for this Burnley game, as I think Liverpool could score quite a few goals there. So now if I just quickly show you what this team will look like going forwards for the next few weeks. Here you can see on Plan FPL, my team for game week 4, 5. Again, still looking like a nice rotation. No transfers required. 6 again with some really nice fixtures for all of these players. Game week 7 is one where I'm looking to bring in Strand Larsen for Hugo Ekitike, and Eze also in for Enzo Fernandez. This is likely due to Ekitike losing some minutes, and Enzo also finishing his nice 3 game week stint. Moving into game week 8, again, no transfers required. Game week 9, still a really nice fixture spread. Great rotation for the defence midfield. 10 again, still no transfers required in this team, with a really nice rotation. The one potential move in this game week could be to get Harvey Elliott out of this side and bring in maybe an Elliot Anderson or a Joe Rodon. In 11, we've got 2 transfers here where we bring in Mitoma for Gakpo and Isak in for Strand Larsen. Potentially, we might have done this sooner and Isak may already be in the team. And then in 12, we're bringing Gakpo back in for Kudus. A nice little shift that shows us having 2 nice fixtures in those game weeks, ahead of Liverpool's really nice fixture run from 12 onwards. And this team will lead us nicely all the way through Liverpool and Manchester City's lovely fixture run into game week 15-16, where we will start to have the extra 5 transfers for AFCON. That rounds out my wildcard team. A couple of tips for you that I would give if you are looking to play a wildcard in game week 4 is, at the start of the week, transfer in the players that you think might rise in price and that might have a potential to be in your side. My actual team at the moment, sitting in my FPL app, is quite different to what you see on screen, as I've got players in like a Gueye, like a Semenyo, that are potential to be rising in price over the next week or 2, and I'm hoping to pick up those price rises and be able to increase my team value before the deadline if they do rise by a 0.2 mil. Another thing that I should remind you is if you do hit your wildcard button at the end of the week, just before the deadline, so the transfers that you do make in the meanwhile do count towards price rises. As soon as you hit that wildcard button, the transfers that you make no longer contribute towards the price rises in FPL. So if you want your players that you've brought in to have an additional one transfer in for the price rise functionality in FPL, wait till the end of the deadline to hit that wildcard button. I will be doing a video shortly on the FPL dark arts and the secrets of wildcarding and how you can maximize the price increases, team value, and all the things that experienced managers in FPL know that can help you with that extra 1 or 2% in FPL that could make the difference at the end of the game week. That's all from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you can, please remember to give a subscribe, like the channel. It really does make a big difference to small content creators like me, and I really appreciate it. This has been your English Aussie. Have a fantastic week, everybody, and I'll catch you guys soon.